The Fever have made another move this offseason, albeit a small one, but they signed Jillian Aileen to a training camp contract, the latest addition to a possible roster, I would say, because training camp contract means that it is not a guaranteed deal. They will make their decision before the WNBA season begins, which ramps up the competition at camp and the possible options for the Fever when it comes to formulating that final roster before the tip off to the actual season.
The Indiana Fever have made another off-season move, though a minor one, by signing Jillian Aileen to a training camp contract. This means her spot on the team isn't guaranteed, but she'll have the chance to compete for a roster spot before the WNBA season begins. With this addition, the competition at camp heats up as the Fever evaluate their final lineup ahead of the season tip-off.
Jillian üçlüyle de öne geçmeyi başarmışlardı. Karşı başladı. Akdeniz temsil. Daha geliyor. Aktarma pek içeriği çok güzel görüyor ve asırı akıyor. Danny Henderson, Shayla Hill, Jillian Aileen dışarıda boş 3 sayılık atış.
The Indiana Fever have made a bold and strategic move that could take the WNBA by surprise. They've signed Julian Allen, a player who once had a quiet stint in the league but went on to dominate overseas. Now, she's back and ready to make an impact. This signing makes one thing clear: Indiana isn't just here to compete, they're here to win.
So I want to apologize to whoever the Indiana Fever draft in the second round of the WNBA draft, because you're not making this team. I want to apologize to Jaylen Brown because you're not making this team. The Indiana Fever have made a fantastic training camp signing. They have signed Jillian Aileen, who, again, is one of these players that is really, like, when you look at, this is what we're going to call a late bloomer in her career.
If you're a rookie hoping to make the Fever's roster, you might want to explore other options. With this signing, Indiana's front office has made it incredibly tough for any second-round pick to secure a spot on the team.
But I think you're starting to get a little bit more shine from maybe the casual fan. And maybe some folks who maybe didn't know or haven't seen Indiana as much as they've seen this year.
I agree.
So what's that part like, getting that little bit more attention and getting a little bit more shine and getting the recognition that you deserve, but maybe weren't necessarily getting before?
No, that's a great question. I think that,
So what does this mean for Indiana and the rest of the WNBA? Buckle up, we're breaking down every angle of this surprising roster move. But before we dive in, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for all the latest updates on the WNBA, the Indiana Fever, and the biggest stories shaking up the league. Now, let's get into it.
Here with the double-double machine, another conference win, 5 in the last 6 games. What does this conference win mean to you, Jillian?
It means a lot. Right now, Coach is saying every game has so much weight on it, especially for the NCAA tournament. That's our number one goal. So getting a win against a good Washington State team means a lot for us.
24 points, 14 rebounds.
Jillian Allen's WNBA career seemed to be a thing of the past. After being drafted by Phoenix in 2016 and struggling to find her footing in the league, she quietly faded from the spotlight. But overseas, she transformed into a dominant force, proving she still has plenty left to offer. Now, she's back and ready to make an impact.
Squad. I feel like I'm finding what I can do and what I can bring to the team. Just watching the past 2 tapes and the film we went over, I see that rebounding is my biggest thing, something that I can bring to the team, as well as good defense. We have some things to work on, but we're on the right track, and I love the feel of our team. I love how I fit into the system, so I'm feeling really good, and just hoping to continue to improve and find ways that I can contribute.
While many fans moved on, Julian Allen was quietly dominating in Turkey, putting up eye-popping numbers. This past season in the KBSL, Turkey's top league, she averaged 18.6 points and 13.8 rebounds per game, leading the entire league in both categories. That's not just impressive, that's pure dominance.
The angle that I had under the basket, it was like I was like out of my body looking at it. I was like, okay, if I switch in time and pull it up, it's gonna go in, and it went right in. So we have the outlet pass from Megan. Lexi's going to push the ball up the floor, and I'm going to run my 4 lane. I see her drive with her left hand, and as the ball's airballed, I go instantly for the rebound. I see Kelsey hold on to me, and I just go right up. Falls right into the rim. I got the call, which was awesome. And the basket. It was perfect.
Basket counts for Jillian Aileen.
And let's set the record straight, Turkey's KBSL isn't some second-rate league. It's the best league in the world outside the WNBA, packed with elite talent, including seasoned WNBA veterans. So with Julian Allen dominating at that level, the real question is, how did no one see this move coming?
A lot of emotions. Going into this weekend, this last couple games here at Matthew Knight Arena, so I can't really explain the emotions, but there's definitely a lot. So many memories made here, and just really excited. The position that we're in, we have a chance to do something really great, and it starts on Friday.
Coach kind of put it to you before the season so that if you wanted to cement your legacy, you had to get this team in this position.
It's simple. WNBA teams often overlook international dominance unless it comes from a former superstar. But Indiana did their homework. They saw what Julian Allen was doing overseas and recognized that her level of production was exactly what they needed on their roster.
Indiana Fever have responded in a big way since the Olympic break. Take a look at this. These are the top 3 scorers in the WNBA since the women brought home gold in the Olympics a few weeks ago. 2 of the members are of the Indiana Fever, Caitlin Clark and Kelsey Mitchell. But we are missing a big piece to this all-star puzzle. Literally, Aaliyah Boston has taken a step forward in her game, and she has built a special chemistry with their star rookie. So let's take it to the court, and I'll show you exactly how she gets it done. Go Aaliyah. She has been balling these last few weeks. So these are the plays that I love with Aaliyah. Watch this tandem. First, this is a pin.
The Fever's roster just got even tougher. For Indiana, this isn't just a solid signing, it's a game changer. By bringing in Julian Allen, they've addressed a key weakness, depth at the power forward position.
Looks like the Indiana Fever have signed Jillian Lane to a training camp contract, right? So we're looking at another big. If I look at the roster already, it's just a training camp contract. It's just a training camp contract, by the way. So I'm looking at our 4s, our 5s, AP, Natasha Howard, what's it called? Dantis, Brianna Turner, and that's really it, right? And then we have a draft pick coming up, right? So
last season, the Fever struggled to find reliable production behind Aaliyah Boston and Lissa Smith. Now, with Julian Allen in the mix, they have a player who can come off the bench and provide instant energy, rebounding, and toughness.
Ryan and Kelly are just talking about, players and evaluations before we came out here, and building quality depth is going to be important. When you have a core 3 like we have, surrounding them with players who are going to, fill the roles, certainly, first and foremost, who are going to embrace the roles, secondly, and who give us the best opportunities for success by complementing what they do really, really well. We have seen in this league's history, how difficult it is to win a championship. The margin for error is small. The margin for error is small. When you're building teams, it's not about always just getting the best players. It's about getting the best complement of players who fit well together, who play well with one another, who...
This is bad news for anyone hoping to make the Fever's roster from the second round of the WNBA draft. The message is clear, there are no open spots left. If you're a rookie forward trying to make an impression in training camp, your chances just got even slimmer. Indiana isn't here to develop prospects, they're here to win. But it's not just rookies feeling the pressure, this move also shakes up the Fever's current roster. If Julian Allen comes into camp and plays like she did overseas, she could completely disrupt the rotation. Veterans who thought they had a secure spot might suddenly find themselves fighting to keep their jobs. This isn't just another contract, it's a second chance. After years of being overlooked, Allen finally has an opportunity to prove she belongs in the WNBA. And make no mistake, she's not taking this lightly. Her journey hasn't been easy. After barely getting playing time in her previous WNBA stints, she could have walked away from the game. Instead, she put in the work, going overseas, refining her skills, and becoming a dominant force in international play. Now, at 30 years old, she's back, and she might be better than ever. But the big question remains, can she translate her overseas success to the WNBA? Dominating in Turkey is one thing, competing against the best of the best in this league is another. But make no mistake, Julian Allen isn't coming back just to try. She's coming back to take a spot. With this signing, the Fever's draft plans just got a lot more interesting. They already hold the #1 overall pick, which will almost certainly be Caitlin Clark. But now, their second-round pick has become nearly irrelevant, especially for any rookie forward hoping to make the roster. Simply put, Julian Allen just took that spot. Indiana no longer needs to gamble on a developmental prospect when they have a proven talent ready to contribute. Instead, they can use that second-round pick on a stash player, someone they can send overseas for a few years before bringing them into the mix.
The Fever's new signing could change everything.
Don't be surprised if Indiana uses their second-round pick on a European prospect instead of a traditional college player. This signing has completely shifted their approach to roster building, prioritizing immediate impact over long-term projects.
3 weeks ago, a group of folks who've been working for 3 years.
You've got your 9th career maybe? I don't know, but tell us a little bit about your next journey.
Thank you. Yeah, 3 weeks ago, a group of folks who've been working for 3 years to create a brand new project came to me and asked me, shared with me the vision of this project, and it seems like it's worth doing. So at the end of our season, which I hope is deep into the playoffs, I will transition to create the country's first girls sport and leadership complex, and never been done. It will be all the sports. It will be focused just on girls, 12th grade and under.
The WNBA is already experiencing a power shift, with teams stacking their rosters for a deep playoff push. Now, Indiana has thrown a wild card into the mix. This signing isn't just about adding depth, it's a statement. The Fever are making it clear they are done rebuilding and ready to compete. This move could shake up the league hierarchy in a big way.
Pumping Clark. Clark, step back three. Top of that run to the belt of the Aces. Clark, connects. Just for that reason, they're two.
The Eastern Conference has been a battleground, with Connecticut, New York, and Washington fighting for dominance. But now, Indiana is positioning itself as a serious contender. They've already secured Caitlin Clark, and with Julian Allen joining the roster, they're addressing one of their biggest weaknesses, bench production. That's something teams like the Liberty and Sun should take seriously. If Allen plays anywhere close to her overseas numbers, the Fever just got a whole lot more dangerous. For rival teams, this means the pressure is on. Indiana was supposed to be in development mode, but this move signals a shift. They're ready to compete now. The message is clear, the Fever aren't here to just go through the motions anymore. With every big signing comes one key question: will it actually work? Allen's overseas numbers are impressive, but there's no guarantee she'll dominate in the WNBA the same way. And that's what makes this move so intriguing.
Everybody talked about when we were in the playoffs last year of, we really didn't have much experience at all playing in playoff games. I don't know what the exact number was, but we really lacked in that area.
We can generally say that Indiana had a successful campaign last season. But see, Caitlin ain't lying with what she just said. I mean, we have to take our hats off to the Fever.
Indiana is making a strategic gamble with this signing. Julian Allen hasn't played in the WNBA for years, and while she's been dominant in Turkey, adapting to the league's speed, athleticism, and defensive intensity is a whole different challenge. Plus, the Fever already have a core of Aaliyah Boston, N.A. Smith, and Caitlin Clark, 3 young stars who will play major minutes. So the big question is, where does Allen fit into this lineup?
Had the appearance at the Pacer game on Friday, too. I'm curious how you've taken her under your wing a little bit to kind of show her the ropes of being a pro.
I put it as when you go to a different school, the first day of school, you don't know anybody, and you find that one person that says hi to you that become your best friend. For me, I just wanted to get ahead of it because I know this transition is tough. Just being undrafted and being a rookie, it's very unlikely that a vet, just take you in when you got the same position. And I think oftentimes people forget that I'm a great person before a basketball player. So for me as a big sister, I'm just I'm going to take this first step.
This could go one of two ways. Either Julian Allen proves she's a hidden gem and becomes one of the best comeback stories in recent memory, or she struggles to adjust and ends up as just another training camp cut. But one thing's for sure, Indiana is making a bold bet that she still has plenty left in the tank.
JD'nin üçlüyü de öne geçmeyi başardı. Akdeniz temsilcisi. Aleyhinen bir basket daha geliyor. Aktarmayı başardı Büşra. Güzel görüyor ve asisti. Danny Henderson. Shayla Hill yine hızı getirdi. Dışarıda boş. 3 sayılık atış. 3 sayılık pas. Birinci sayısı Jillian Aleyh'nin. Bir kez daha. Aleyh'in 3 sayılık atış. Çemberin.
The rest of the league is paying attention. No one expected Indiana to be this aggressive in shaping their roster, and now rival teams will have to rethink their approach when facing them. The Fever aren't just rebuilding, they're making moves to compete right now, and that could shift the balance of power in the WNBA.
I know, I'm falling so much.